Hi, I'm Sam Thurgood and welcome to my 5-minute Parsha. Behar starts with something unexpected. V'yidaber Hashem al Moshe Behar Sinai lemor. Hashem spoke to Moshe on Mount Sinai saying. Now, it's not unexpected that Hashem spoke to Moshe on Mount Sinai, but it's unexpected that a communication at this point in the Torah, right towards the end of the book of Vayikra, should be introduced by Hashem speaking to Moshe on Mount Sinai. Why does it not say Hashem spoke to him in the Ohel Moed? And why is it placed that commandment over here, not, for example, in Yitro, where Hashem is speaking to Moshe on Mount Sinai? So many of the commentaries make the point that this teaches us that in fact all of the mitzvot were given to Moshe on Mount Sinai, and everything else was simply repeated later or explained more later, but that the mitzvot all have their source on Mount Sinai. Now, why is that so important, and why does that need to be emphasized over here? Well, Rabbi David Stav points out that Parshat Behar is perhaps the most sociological, or the parsha with the most social awareness out of all of the sidrot in the Torah. It's the parsha with the most laws dealing with society-wide interactions. Things like honesty in business, sensitivity to other people's feelings, and so on, many other examples. Behar is the sidra that deals with us as a society. Let's put that on the one hand. And on the other hand, Rabbi Moshe Feinstein asked the question, why is it so important to know that the mitzvot are from Mount Sinai? And he says, because if we don't have the mitzvot from Mount Sinai, if we have these mitzvot because we think it's the right thing to do, ultimately, that is an insufficiently strong basis for building a society. And he says, because you're always going to have individuals, or perhaps you'll even have entire societies themselves, that question the basis of those laws. If murder is wrong because it hurts people, so what about when it doesn't hurt people? What about when the people themselves want it? What about when the person in question doesn't have a voice, but you think it's best for them? These questions come up, and I'm not trying to address or answer those questions right now, but I do want to point out that if the basis for our society's laws are our own understanding, as we disagree or as our understanding changes, those laws also change. And so there is no bedrock, no absolutely rock solid foundation upon which the society is built. It's always a question of what do people think at the time. And I always think in these kinds of discussions, the quote from Samuel Goldwyn of Metro Goldwyn Mayer, the movie producers, that they asked him decades ago, Mr. Goldwyn, do your movies accurately reflect the morals and values of the time? And he turned to the reporter and he said, our movies create the morals and values of the time. There are so many influences going on all the time, so many things that have influenced and formed and shaped our opinions that we don't even know. And yet, on those opinions, we should base an entire society, again, with something that's constantly changing. So the one model is to say, yes, go with the constantly changing opinions of people, and as new ideas and discoveries and evidence come out, so then we'll adjust it. But Hashem says no. Because there is a real chance that an entire society can end up doing something terrible because they based it only on what they thought was best. There's no higher authority to which they submit. The idea of Behar Sinai is that the mitzvot come from Hashem because this is what Hashem said. And there's a point at which you engage and discuss and understand. There's a point at which you say, I don't understand, but this is what Hashem says, and I can't take this conversation further. Ultimately, I have to go with it. There is a line that's drawn. There's a submission to Hashem's decision of what's right and wrong, and you can never move past that red line, and that's something that keeps society contained. And coming back to Rabbi Stav's point about Behar being the parsha that deals with society, perhaps that's why it's mentioned right over here. Because for an individual, you can get wonderful individuals who do mitzvot for their own reasons. Yeah, I give charity because I'm compassionate. I do this because I think it's right. I do this because I see it. And on an individual level, maybe fantastic. But on a societal level, where you always have people questioning, where you always have people pushing the boundaries, where you always have people who don't want to toe the line, you need a container to hold them all together. That container is Behar Sinai. That container is an ultimate acceptance that the laws of the world come from the Almighty, that Hashem has set down certain parameters. Chok natan v'lo ya'avor. Just as when it comes to the sea and the ocean and the sand, Hashem set a line and he said, you don't go past that line. So too when it comes to our creation of societies, that there are some lines that Hashem set down that we have to be sensitive to, that we have to honor and respect, and that we have to acknowledge are in fact Hashem's greatest gift to us. These parameters of saying, this is okay, and this is a bad route to go down. Please God, we should understand this, we should have this, we should build this, and we should create a world that has all of the right parameters and containment in which we can really thrive and grow. Shabbat Shalom.